Chairperson and members of PNGRB, distinguished guests, captains of industry, colleagues from CGD and pipeline entities, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to join you today for the 19th Foundation Day of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. 19 years ago, PNGRB was set up with a clear mandate to protect consumers, promote competition, attract investment, and ensure orderly growth of infrastructure. Today, it has established itself as a credible and trusted regulator in India's energy landscape. Why is this so important? Because natural gas is not just another fuel, but a bridge to our clean energy future. It is clean, affordable, and reliable. It reduces air pollution in our cities, supports and lowers carbon emissions as we move towards our net zero commitment by 2070. PNGRB, along with other stakeholders, have been central to the transformation. Let me cite a few milestones. City gas distribution. Today, almost the entire country has been authorized for CGD. Over 1.55 crore PNG connections are bringing clean cooking fuel to households. CNG stations have crossed 8,500 in number, providing a cleaner, cheaper transport option. Pipeline infrastructure. PNGRB has authorized a pipeline grid of about 35,000 kilometers. Out of this, more than 24,500 is already operational. This is the backbone of a truly national gas market. Unified tariff. One of the most progressive reforms has been the unified tariff regime. It reduces regional disparities. It has done so, and ensures that consumers in far-flung areas also get gas at affordable rates. Consumer protection and safety. PNGRB has created dedicated systems for grievance redressal, safety and accountability. Strict technical standards are ensuring that consumer safety remains paramount. Friends, the global energy sector is changing rapidly. Climate change, technology, and shifting demand are redefining the way we produce and consume energy. In this transition, natural gas will play a vital role for India. As you enter your 20th year, expectations will grow. The priorities before us are clear. Faster rollout of CGD in new geographical areas, strengthening consumer frameworks with digital grievance redressal, facilitating greater competition and preventing monopolistic practices, and above all, aligning regulations with India's sustainability and clean energy goals. We have to remember that reforms are needed, but we need to survive today for building a stronger future. We also need to be conscious of the timing and maturity of the market. Allow me to make 3 appeals to all stakeholders here today. First and foremost, put the consumer first. Every tariff decision, every pipeline, every CGD rollout must be centered on affordability and reliability. Embrace innovation. Technology must become the norm, whether in pipeline monitoring, leak detection, customer service, or digital tracking. Strengthen partnerships. Collaboration between the government, the regulator, and industry is essential for achieving our energy goals. Let me assure you, the Ministry of PNG will continue to extend full support. Together, we will build a natural gas sector that is efficient, transparent, and consumer-friendly. I'm also delighted that PNGRB is recognizing excellence today. Awards for CGD and pipeline entities are not just a token of appreciation, they reflect hard work, innovation, and the commitment of our industry partners. I congratulate all the award winners. Your work is directly benefiting millions of citizens. On this, the 19th Foundation Day, I congratulate PNGRB for its contributions and all award-winning entities for their excellence. As we move towards a gas-based economy and a Viksit Bharat by 2047, let us reaffirm our shared commitment to energy security, sustainability, and above all, consumer welfare. When you were welcoming me today, you said nice things about me. You said that I had a past life as a diplomat, as an author, and I think I've also had a long life as a minister. But I want to only mention that experience in the context of regulators. When I was given independent charge of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in September of 2017, 3rd September, one of the first things that struck me on that occasion was that the housing and urban affairs sector represents a huge segment of our domestic economy. If you look at urbanization, if you look at urban transport, metros, if you look at any area, and if you look at the entirety of the urban sector reforms that the Honorable Prime Minister had introduced in 2014, when our expenditure on the urban sector cumulatively went up from 1,57,000 crores, and today it's about 14, 15, 16 times that. And we are urbanizing at a rate. Earlier, people thought that we were reluctant urbanizers, but then, when we took off, in 1947, when we became an independent country, the urban sector provided only about 17%. Bhaiya, thank you. Urban sector provided 17% of the population, and the population was 350 million. So we can Delhi's population was 8 lakhs in 1947, and then my generation, people from my family and other refugees came in from what is now called West Pakistan, and it went up to 22 lakhs. Now, if you were to take a census of the population in Delhi today, which we will take after the next census is over, I don't know, you may have your views, I don't think it'll be less than 2 crores. The area is the same, the boundaries are the same, but one situation in 1947 housed 8 lakhs. By 1950, because of the refugee influx, it became 22 lakhs. And today it'll be 2 crores plus. Why am I mentioning this? One of the first things that struck me when I became Housing and Urban Affairs Minister is that this is one of the most important segments in terms of GDP production, in terms of the economy, and we don't have a regulator. Why am I saying this to you? Because government did make an attempt to establish what is called RERA. And it is a checkered history. Real Estate Regulation Act. There were differences within the government. The Prime Minister was absolutely clear there will be a regulator. A lot of other people in the government, for whatever reason, said, one of my distinguished friends who held a high position, he said, oh, heavens will not fall if RERA doesn't come through. And then a drafting exercise started, and that drafting exercise became hilarious. Some people said it is too little, some people said it is too much, and then whenever you're trying to do something good, you can invariably bet your bottom dollar or bottom rupee that will happen. People will file legal challenges. So a large number of legal cases came, and I inherited that situation. So I said, what's going to happen? People ask me, what is going to happen? Will you dilute the provisions of RERA? I said, not as long as I'm minister. I will not dilute it. I will expect a regulator to be set up. We'll deal with after that, and we will not dilute it. I remember there's a journalist who writes for Times of India. Periodically, he would test the, temperature in the water. I said, I'm not going to dilute it. Then all the Supreme Court decided that all the challenges to RERA were to be heard by one jurisdiction, which was the Mumbai High Court. People ask me, oh, you're now in trouble, the court will do this. I say, the court will do nothing. Because when you're dealing with issues of substance, even the courts, the politician, anyone, people will ask questions. They should ask questions. But everybody has a conscience. And then you will be judged on the public opinion. So I was absolutely delighted. RERA was not only, the law was upheld, it was implemented. What is my experience after that? Perhaps I shouldn't say it in this forum. Some RERAs are working well, some are not working well. Why are the ones not working well? I think in some case, I shouldn't say this, but perhaps I should. I don't know, I'm in two minds. I think the regulator got a wrong thinking about what the regulator was supposed to do. In other cases, but 2 or 3 jurisdictions, the regulator did superb job. But what happened to the sector? Sector boomed. Today, if you look at real estate, if you look at housing, and I do still read newspapers in the morning apart from being wedded to this little contraption. And I saw some indices, very encouraging. So I'm giving you this example of, aapke to 20 saal ho gaye, 20th year starting. RERA, when did it come into being? No, 2017, it was challenged. It was challenged. It came in later. So even say if it came in 2018, I should have that date. It's only 7 years old. But it's working. It's working well. Yes, there are things. Sometimes an institution works because you have a good appointment. Sometimes people fight with each other. Whatever it is. My point is, today we have got a great story going on the energy sector. I see my friends, captains from industry here. What was the situation a few years ago? We were being told, when I was newly appointed to the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry, 2021, I think, I was told कि आप E&P क्यों करते हैं? There's enough of oil available in the world market. Probably true. But no, we took conscious decisions. We were going to enhance. And the gas sector is a case in point, natural gas. I looked at statistics. Your production year on year is increasing by 18%. It is today, whatever you've done in terms of a national infrastructure, very good. I know my friends in the OMCs, and the private sector people sitting there also. There are sometimes, Arvinder is smiling. Let's say differences of opinion, which this thing, but that's healthy. It's also our job to reconcile those. As long as we stick to mandates and do what it is. Now, if I'm Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister, I shouldn't start doing other people's work. Now, my problem is that sometimes the nomenclature is faulty. When people refer to me as Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister, I also used to think, "Arey bhai, main to energy transition kar raha hu. Aapka jo natural gas is one of my clean energy function, where we are also doing biofuel blending. We are also doing green hydrogen, etc." So all in all, on this occasion, I offer you my heartiest congratulations. I think you guys have done a job really well. I think there are still many miles to travel, many goals to achieve. And I personally believe that given the fact, some people choose to call us a dead economy, but that's their problem. But I think we grew at, 7.8% in the last quarter, 7.4% in the previous quarter. After 18 years, one of the rating agencies raised our overall profile rating after 18 years. And whatever I see around me, I also, somebody referred to me as a diplomat, as a former, I lived abroad for 39, most of my 39 years as a professional diplomat. I was in the think tanking world for 4 years. Look at how the others are doing. But in our success, in our economy, going forward, energy will be a crucial driver. And I think that is where the game change is coming from. So it doesn't matter whether it is natural gas or it is other forms of clean energy or even in the traditional sector. So I think on this occasion, let's sit back, reflect on what we have achieved with a degree of satisfaction and put our best foot forward for more successes in the years ahead. Thank you very much.